check to the church, you can't tell me what to do with it. That's the law. Okay? If I do that, I could go to jail or to prison. And I'm not going to prison for that. Okay? If I'm going to go to prison, it's going to be for something I choose to do. It's not for that. Okay? So, when you write your check to the mediator, you lose control over it. And you can't tell the mediator what to do. But why do we do it that way? For the tax write-off. But the truth is, if the Lord moved on your heart to give Colin $1,000, you need to walk up and give Colin $1,000. Now here's how you do that anonymously. You walk up to me with cash, and you put it in an envelope, it's got Colin's name on it, you say, would you please give Colin this money, and don't tell him where it came from. Absolutely. Now we've protected you, we've protected Colin, and we've protected the church. That's the way it's supposed to work. So if God moves on your heart, and Colin is praying that it does, by the end of the service, to give him $1,000, then do that. I get my cut, 20%. Okay? But that's the way it works. And so it's been around since the beginning of time. When God moves on your heart to help Bill and Mary, who needed help moving, what happened? Ray shows up with a truck and a 38,000-foot trailer. How big is that trailer? Is it 30 feet?
One is 18 and the other is 14.
Okay, put them together, that's 32. All right, I mean, and he was there all day long. Now, did Ray hand them cash? And lots of other guys did too, but I was going to, because he gave what he had. They needed a truck and a trailer. He didn't bring them a motorhome, he brought them a truck and a trailer, because that's what they needed. Classic example. Okay? A few weeks ago, Frank and Julie told you, what did we need? We needed visitors, we needed comfort, we needed food, we needed babysitters. What did we do? We provided what they needed. That's the way this is supposed to work. That's the way it's supposed to work, with no limit. If Frank's back in the hospital next week, we do it again. If y'all are moving again next week, I'm not too sure about that.
A lot of books.
It was all books. Okay? But the idea is that we do what we got to do to help each other. That's the idea. We give and give and give. By removing that personal connection, yeah, it protects our heart. We can sleep easy at night, but the goal is for our heart to be enlarged, our heart to be challenged and changed through giving. It is better that you fall to 50 scams than to not help one guy who really needs help. This is a famous saying by somebody much more famous than me. It's better that you would help a score of people than to miss out on one person who's really in need. And I want to tell you what, people are getting really creative. Miss Juanita will tell you, because she answers the phone every day, and it's getting more and more. Every day, somebody calls this church looking for groceries. Every day. Can you help me out? Okay, now some of them are not really creative. One guy called and said, hey, I just want you to know I found your church in the yellow pages, and I need some help with groceries. And I said, really? He said, absolutely. And I said, well, I'd be happy to help you out. I said, but I need to know, are you telling me the truth? Do you really need help with groceries? Yes, I am. I said, the whole story you're telling me is the truth. Yes, it is. I said, well, sir, it can't be because we're not in the yellow pages. Okay, that was on a Monday. He called again on Thursday. Said the same thing. I said, sir, you already talked to me on Monday. He said, I did? I said, yes, sir. I said, how'd you find her number again? And he went, oh, you're not the one that's in the yellow page. That's right. I had a gentleman pulled up right out here. Wife was on her way back from the hospital, got a heart issue, needed gas to get back to Kissimmee. Okay, well, I'm not going to walk out and just hand him $40. So I walked with him down here to the grocery store, down here to the gas station. He pulled up his little truck next to the thing, and I put my card in, and I started pumping gas. $4 in, his truck was full. And I said, you got a really small gas tank. Because gas was like $4 a gallon back then. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, it's saying it's full. He goes, heck, gas gauge must be broke. I said, yeah, or your story is broke. I said, dude, you tried to pull one on me. I said, you want me to hand you $40. I said, you can't do that. I said, God bless you. I said, and I walked off. I did what I could do to help him. But things are going to get rough for people, and more people need help. Okay? Be ready to give. Be ready to help them out. So what do I do about the dude that's down here by the mall? We'll work for food. What do we do? What's our response? I know what our response is sometimes. Now, I don't help every one of them. I don't. But if I feel like the Lord whispered to me, you got to help this guy out, than I do. You say, well, Pastor Tom, what if he's a drug addict and he's going to use it on alcohol and buy some weed? Well, that's not my problem. My problem is the Lord whispered to me to help this guy right here. How much do you give him? I give him what I got. I give him what I can. If I've got a $20 bill, I'm not going to ask him for change. Okay? And the point is, you do what you can do to help. You say, well, what if it's a scam? That's not my problem. That's his problem if it's a scam. My problem is, what if it's not a scam and I didn't listen to the voice of God? Now I got a problem. Okay? So what do? You do what Jesus taught, which is help the people that you can teach. And a long time ago, Christmas was on Sunday. It's December the 23rd, it's Friday. And my dad, my senior pastor, made me, the assistant pastor, go do hospital visitation 2 days before Christmas. I'm already running behind on my Christmas shopping, and it is a freezing cold day in Michigan. I mean, ice and, just nasty. And I go down to Borges Hospital to see a gentleman who is in a permanent coma, who is never going to know whether I was there or not, except I leave him a card so that when his family stop by, they'd see Pastor Tom Jr. stop by. I run into the hospital, and my plan is, I got to run into the hospital, say hi, off, do my Christmas shopping, run home. I get out of I had a Toyota Starlet, little tiny roller skate car, and I pull up to the thing, and I'm running in the hospital, and there's this guy sitting out along the street, and he looks up at me and he goes, "Can you help me?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And I went on into the hospital, and I came back out, and I'm thinking as I'm walking out of the hospital, "Dear God, please have that guy be gone when I get out of here," because I'm a compassionate person. And I walk, the guy's still there, and I'm like, "Oh no." So I walk by him, and he gets up and starts walking with me, and I'm like, "No, this ain't going right now." Okay? And he's got no hat, he's got no gloves, he's got on this thin little jacket, he's freezing, and we get up to my car, and he looks at me, and he says, "Can you help me?" I said, I don't know, I really can't, And he's over at my car door, and he's standing in my door, and I'm like, "Dude, I got to go," right? And he looks at me and he says, "Well, have a Merry Christmas." And I'm like, so I said, "All right, come here." So I got out of the car, and we walked down the block. In downtown Kalamazoo had this thrift store, kind of like a Goodwill, Salvation Army kind of thing. And I walked in with this guy, and I went up to the owner of the store. I said, "Look," I said, I don't know what's up with this guy really, but I just want you to make sure he gets a coat and a hat and some gloves." And I gave him $20. The guy goes, "No problem." He says, "Guy, go get what you need." He says, I'll make sure you get all this stuff." I said, "All right." I said, "Listen, I'm going to wait for the guy right outside, and then I'm going to take him back to where he's staying." It had one of those big wooden doors with the sleigh bells on it, like one of those doors that took like 3 people to open. And I'm standing out there, and I'm in my little trench coat looking all pastorally, and I'm freezing, and I'm out there going like this, and I'm looking, and the guy's like taking his good old sweet time, and I'm like, "What? They don't match." "So what?" I mean, it's cold, and I'm dancing around, and I'm looking inside, and he's shopping. He's got this big bundle of clothes. I'm like, "For $20, are you playing?" He goes in, he pays for his stuff, and I'm out there, I go, I gotta go. So I go in and I find the store guy. I said, "Listen, where's my man? I gotta take him home. I got stuff I gotta do." And he says, "He just left." I said, "No, he didn't leave." He says, "Yeah, he did. He just left." I said, "He didn't leave. I was standing right there." He goes, "I'm telling you," he walked right out that door. I never saw him. I don't know how to explain it. But I know the Bible says, be careful, you never know when you would tend an angel unaware. I didn't help that guy, he helped me. Merry Christmas to me. That was a really weird Christmas at my house. You don't know who that is standing on the street corner. And I'm not saying it's an angel, what I'm saying is, those are human beings who have needs of food, water. Goodness gracious, it's 150 degrees in Florida this time of year. I don't know. What I do know is that my heart is often revealed for $5. That I'm so cheap, I can't give somebody $5. So the price of my heart is $5. That's good. That's me. What did Jesus teach? And later on, he didn't say these words, but the idea is that we should be a cheerful giver. We should be happy to give, because we get to be like God. The New Testament word for cheerful is also translated hilarious. And I've heard of churches that when they take the offering, they laugh about it. I'm not too